Good day, respected panel and audience. My name is Celine J. Reyes, a student in the MAELAD program. And today I'm excited to present my thesis proposal titled Exploring Gender Identity in What is a Woman, a Multimodal Critical Discourse Analysis. This research delves into the intricate ways that documentaries, specifically the 2022 film What is a Woman, produced by the Daily Wire, uses a combination of verbal and nonverbal elements to construct and represent gender identity amidst ongoing cultural debates. To give you a quick overview, the documentary has over 170 million views, as reported by the Daily Wire in June 2023, following its Twitter premiere, making it a pivotal artifact in the gender cultural war. Throughout this presentation, I'll cover the introduction, including background and literature review, research gap and questions, significance of the study, scope and limitation, theoretical and conceptual frameworks, and methods, which encompasses dataset, procedure, and pilot study. Let's begin with the introduction to situate the study. In contemporary media, meaning isn't just conveyed through spoken or written language. Instead, it's a complex interplay of multimodal elements such as images, gestures, tone of voice, camera angles, lighting, and even music, as theorized by scholars like Crescent Van Leeuwen in their 2006 work on visual grammar, and further expanded by Bateman and Cheng in 2023. These elements are strategically deployed by filmmakers to either reinforce dominant ideologies or challenge them, particularly in sensitive areas like gender identity. For instance, verbal assertions about what constitutes masculinity or femininity are often amplified or contradicted by visual cues, creating a layered narrative that influences public perceptions. Turning to gender identities specifically, it's increasingly understood not as fixed biological given but as a performative and fluid construct. Judith Butler's seminal 1990 book, Gender Trouble, argues that gender is a repeated stylization of the body, a doing rather than being. This view was challenged and nuanced by early sexologists such as John Money in 1950s, who emphasized the role of socialization. However, the tragic case of David Raymer highlighted the limitation of socialization in overriding innate identity. Feminist scholarships such as Kessler and McKenna's 1978 work expand this view to consider gender as spectrum influenced by social performance and power dynamics. In the media, these concepts come alive through multimodal embodiments. Hence, documentaries serve as hybrid texts blending interviews, narration, and visual rhetoric, making them ideal sites for ideological contestation. Now, let's deepen our understanding through the review of related literature, which I've divided into two parts for clarity. This review establishes the foundation by examining interaction between verbal and nonverbal modalities in documentaries, portrayals of gender identity across media, and the role of ideologies. First, regarding multimodal interactions, scholars emphasize that verbal and nonverbal elements don't operate in isolation but rather collaborate to build cohesive meanings, as demonstrated by Xiong and Zhang 2022 and Wei 2024. For example, Wei's 2024 study on the documentary Through the Seasons, China, employed a mixed method approach using NVivo software to categorize metaphor, finding that 80% were implicit and enhanced through pictorial verbal synergies, which directly inform my analysis of how modalities construct contested concepts like gender in What is a Woman. Similarly, Saleh and Sherwani 2020 applied semiotic theory to an ISIS documentary, showing how symbolic darkness in visual paired with voice-over narration creates narratives of extremism and moral panic, mirroring the ideological conflicts in my chosen film. Second, paralinguistic cues are particularly vital in confrontational discourse. Pauses and silence carry rhetorical weight, often indicating hesitation or anxiety, according to Nicolake 2016. While vocal dynamics like pitch and overlapping speech assert power or convey skepticism, according to Al-Sahafi 2024. These elements, when coded alongside gestures, reveal how certainty or doubt is multimodally constructed, directly supporting my focus on verbal modalities in gender debates. Next, shifting to gender in offline media. It often reinforces stereotypes, as Rubio 2018 found in British TV commercials where women were depicted domestically via government's gender advertisement frameworks. And Guha et al. 2015 quantified underrepresentation in Hollywood films using automated processing, showing men dominated screen time even when women spoke. Also, Domingo's 2017 feminist critique of Ghost in the Shell highlights progressive disruptions through cyborg visuals, challenging binaries. In children's TV, Walsh and Leeper 2019 noted stereotype behaviors, while Buyan and Rahman 2022 saw submissive roles in Bangladeshi's ad. Lastly, for online media, it's more dynamic. Malfo's 2021 used visual grammar to show memes reinforcing binaries. Amjad and Razul 2017 critique Pakistani blogs stigmatizing working women. And Mary 2024 mixed method study in Chennai revealed digital media's dual role in stereotyping and advocacy. This literature underscores the media's socializing power. A key innovation in my approach is the integration of DOT and MaxQDA to code these cues quantitatively. Continuing the RRL, media often frames transgender people negatively. Capuzzo 2016 used CDA to show US newspapers emphasizing deceptive transitions, and Biller 2016 identified tropes of trans women as deceptive gay men. Second, gender critical discourse deploys essentialism, portraying trans individuals as threats according to Dinage 2023 and Brown 2019, with disinformation tactics creating moral panic. Third, patriarchal ideologies naturalize binaries. Power and Kim 2019 analyzed the business media for the underrepresentation of women leaders, and Becerra 2020 critiqued the absences in Sex and the City. Lastly, progressive counters include Shahid and Kadir's 2018 on Saving Face, portraying women as survivors, and Domingo and Viana 2022 applying feminist pedagogies to film disrupting patriarchy. Next is the research gap and questions. Despite the rich literature, a clear research gap exists. Extensive work on gender media and GC framing often overlooks fine-grained paralinguistic analysis in confrontational documentaries such as What is a Woman? Studies apply MCDA broadly, but rarely to verbal cues such as overlap in GC contexts, which limits critics' power dynamics. My study feels this by focusing on these elements. The research questions are: first, what modalities are present in the documentary What is a Woman? Focusing on nonverbal cues, facial expression and gestures, and verbal cues, intonation, tone of voice, pause, and overlapping. Research question 2: how do these modalities construct and represent gender identity? For example, through assertive tones reinforcing binaries. Research question 3: what ideologies are constructed by these modalities, like gender critical essentialism versus feminist progressivism? And lastly, how do these representations reflect broader societal ideologies? Addressing this gap with software like DODE for annotations and MaxQDA for matrices ensures a targeted, innovative approach in MCDA. Next is the significance of the study. The significance of the study extends to multiple stakeholders, addressing prevalent misrepresentations of gender in media. For students, it provides a deeper insight into how documentaries like What is a Woman shape societal norms, fostering critical thinking and multimodal literacy, not just academically, but in navigating real world social issues such as recognizing bias framing in gender debates. Also, that the educators, particularly in English language education, can leverage the findings to refine teaching practices, incorporating MCDA into curricula to analyze media texts and promote anti-oppressive pedagogies as inspired by Domingo and Viana 2022. Next is for the curriculum planners. Curriculum planners benefit by using the results to design more inclusive programs that challenge stereotypes and include diverse gender representations, ensuring educational materials reflect fluid identities. Next is for researchers. This advances MCDA by demonstrating software integration, DOTE and MaxQDA for replicable analysis, potentially inspiring future studies on paralinguistic and polarized discourses. Next will be the filmmakers. Filmmakers gain awareness of how multimodal choices like gestures, framing, pairings influence audience perceptions, encouraging ethical designs that avoid reinforcing essentialism. Overall, in an era of cultural polarization, this study combats underrepresentation with the software's precision in MCDA as a core feature of impactful evidence-based contribution. Next one would be the scope and limitation. The scope is focused on applying MCDA to the documentary What is a Woman, emphasizing verbal and nonverbal modalities in interviews using software for annotations. Limitations include relying on my intensive interpretation as per Patton 2009 without intercoder reliability for depth. It's US-centric, not generalizable, and prioritizes qualitative insights. This approach keeps the study feasible while highlighting the software's role in overcoming the challenges of manual analysis. These boundaries make the research feasible, while the software tools in MCDA mitigate some limitations by providing structured visual outputs such as code summaries in Appendix B. Next is the theoretical framework. The theoretical framework centers on MCDA by Machin and Mayer 2012, combining CDA for power and ideology analysis with MD for multimodal resources, Kress and Van Leeuwen 2001. It's grounded in social semiotics for contextual meaning making and systemic functional grammar for linguistic function. Lastly, visual grammar analyzes visual and gestures. Also, Patent 2009 principles support my solo interpretive approach. This framework, enhanced by software like MaxQDA, enables systematic unpacking of modalities and ideologies, a strong selling point for my methodological innovation. Next is the conceptual framework. As shown in Figure 1, the conceptual framework utilizes MCDA to link modalities in What is a Woman. At the core are verbal, we have voice tone, intonation, pause, and overlapping. And nonverbal, we have facial expressions and body language. These elements are annotated using DOTE, employing Jeffersonian and Mondada systems. MCTA bridges them informed by social semiotics, systemic functional grammar, and visual grammar to construct gender identity. For example, assertive tones reinforcing binaries. It covers ideologies like gender critical essentialism. Finally, it reflects societal ideologies through MaxQDA's heat maps and networks. The software integration, DOTE for precision and MaxQDA for visualization, making analysis efficient and insightful. Next is the procedure. The procedure is methodical and directly tied to research questions. We have here 4 steps. Step 1, transcribe the documentary and annotate using DOTE with Jeffersonian and Mondada systems. For example, marking pause, overlaps, tones to identify present modalities like nonverbal expressions and verbal intonation. This directly answers research question 1 by cataloging cues, as in Appendix A. Step number 2, import annotations to MaxQDA for coding. For example, verbal would be V underscore host and ideologies would be ID underscore gender critical, generating matrices and heat maps to reveal patterns such as sarcastic tones linked to essentialism. This addresses research question 2, how modalities construct gender. For example, mocking smiles reinforcing binaries. And research question 3, what ideologies emerged like patriarchal via erasures? Next is step 3. Step 3 analyzes interactions via thematic networks in MaxQDA, examining synergies. For example, overlapping speech asserting dominance in trans discussion to deepen research questions to exploration of gender representation. And last one would be step number 4. Interpret using Patton's 2009 principles. Link findings to societal context like US transphobia, answering research question 4 on reflection. This sequential software-enhanced process in MCDA, DOTE for detail, and MaxQDA for visualization ensures rigor and traceability. Let's now look at the dataset and crucially the findings from the pilot study, because this is where the software integration in MCDA becomes tangible and begins to answer the research questions even before the full analysis. The primary data consists of the full transcript of What is a Woman, but for the manageability and depth I focus on one interview segment, the first, which is the first interview in the documentary. It is between the host and the licensed marital and family therapist. Appendix A shows the dot annotated transcript. Every pause is timed, overlaps are bracketed, tone shifts are arrowed, and nonverbals are tagged in double arrows. Appendix B contains max QDA, export each code with document coverage, percentage, and weighted frequency. To test the entire workflow, I conducted a pilot analysis on a 3-minute exchange where host Matt Walsh presses the therapist Gert Comfrey on defining women. This segment is ideal because of high emotional charge, rapid turn taking, and visible gestures like the rest of the interviews that will be used on a full analysis. So let's have here the pilot study. For research question 1, what multimodal elements verbal and nonverbal, are present in the selected interview segment of What is a Woman? A total of 253 multimodal cues were identified and annotated using Note and MaxQDA with Jeffersonian and Mondada transcription systems. For verbal modalities, we have 71%. It's around 179 instances. And for nonverbal modalities, we have 29%, around 74 instances. For verbal modalities, the 71% consists of pause, 34%, 61 instances, tone is 41%, 74 instances, overlapping is 4%, 8 instances, and dialogue is 20%, 36 instances. And nonverbal modalities consist of emotion with 51%, 38 modality, 38 instances, gesture 40%, 29 instances, and embedded 9% with 7 instances. I quantify each modality to show the multimodal elements present in the selected interview. Next one for pilot study research question number 2. How do these multimodal elements interact to construct and represent gender identity in the discourse? So this MaxQDA thematic network built from 253 dot annotated segments is the visual answer. Look at the center. For red notes, we have the gender codes, femininity and masculinity. And then blue, we have verbal cues, tone, pause, etc. And green, we have the nonverbal, emotion and gesture. So the number on lines are the co-occurrences frequency. So first is femininity with 26 instances is built through affective, nonverbal, and plus calm vocal delivery. The strongest links would be the tone with 8 instances and emotion with 6 instances, especially smiling. Example, position 102, P1 says or interviewee says, assigned female while smiling. So max QDA shows 87% co-occurrence, a red hot spot on the visual map. This constructs femininity as nurturing, social condition, and emotionally open. Next would be masculinity with 27 instances. It mirrors the opposite. So host assertive tone has 6 instances plus intense gaze 7. Position 62 is a good example. What do you mean, assertive, looking intently? 100% of these appear in host terms. So max QTA matrix approves discursive dominance. So masculinity is equal to rational probing in control. Third would be the trans identity with 4 instances emerges in high tension moments. So pauses 4 plus hand gestures plus rising pitch. So a good example would be the position 80. I have a penis, wide eyes, hand movements plus 0.3-second pause. The thematic network in MaxUDA links pause to gesture to trans to contested. Trans identity is visibly performed, which is defiant but fragile. And lastly would be the gender critical stance with 4 instances is conflict driven. So skeptical tone plus head shake plus pauses. So a good example would be position 76. How do we know? Skeptical and then zero point 0.4-second pause. Document portraits show red spikes only in post, visualizing ideological gatekeeping. So in summary, Verbal is equal to rational debate, the tone and the pauses. Non-verbal is equal to emotional depth, which are the smiles, gazes, and then gestures. So Max QDA turns co-occurrences into visual evidence, which is gender is not stated, it is performed. The asymmetry, um, femininity is equals to soft, masculinity is equals to hard. Reflect the documentary's ideological tilt exactly what MCDA with software reveals. Next one would be the pilot study for research question 3. What ideologies are constructed through the interplay of these multimodal elements? So this Max QDA heat map is the answer. We have 253 segments color-coded. So the legends are yellow is weak, red is the strongest overlap. So for the rows, starting codes, and then columns would be the intersecting modalities. So progressive to feminist. Um, ideological underscore feminist lights up verbal pauses for. So good example would be position 68. Sex and gender are more than binary. So plus point 0.8 plus point 0.2 pause is pauses is equals to space for nuance, inclusion, and then reflection. Next would be the patriarchal gender critical. So ideology underscore gender critical is 0. So not direct, but gender ideology plus host modalities explode. So verbal pauses is 3, non-verbal host emotion is 3, gesture is 4, and tone is 9. So good example is position 131. My mom is pause point 8, biological anchor. Host uses modalities to challenge assert dominance. So bottom line is verbal pause is equals to engine 23 with P1 or interviewee reflection, 11 with host pressure. Next is host side, red cluster, skeptical, essentialist, confrontational, and the P1 side is yellow or green, thoughtful, and then inclusive. So Max QDA proves that progressive ideology is verbally reflective and patriarchal ideology is non-verbally assertive. So even zeros tell a story, silence on feminist side, dominance on critical. So software turns on co-occurrence into visual ideology. And the last one is the research question 4. How do these multimodal representations reflect broader societal ideologies on gender? So we have here two columns. So this two-column mirror is the answer. So again, 253 coded segments. So let's have the left side first. So host is equal to patriarchal. So societal ideology underscore cultural norms has 47 instances. Tone is 41, emotion is 24, gesture is 13. A good example would be position 131. My mom is zero point 0.8 second pause, a woman. So biological anchor reinforces tradition, skepticism, and then dominance. On the other column, we have here the P1 or the interviewee is equals to progressive. So social ideology underscore gender debates. So we have here 102 instances. So pauses is 61, rising tone, then raised eyebrows. So good example would be position 68. Sex and gender are more than binary. Nuance inclusion, challenge norms, opens debate. Bottom line is the nonverbal is 71%, emotion drives culture. So debates is 102 is greater than the norms, which is just 47. So documentary prioritizes tension. So the interview is a microcosm of society. So host is equals to cultural gatekeeper, P1 or the therapist is equal to voice of change. So 102 versus 47, progressive push is louder in data. Therefore, DOT plus max QTA turn codes into cultural reflection. Gender is not just debated, it is lived in modality. To close, this study shows how one interview in What is a Woman becomes a battleground of gender ideology. It happens not just through words, it happens through every pause, every smile, every skeptical glance. From 253 dot annotated cues to Max QDA's visual networks and heat maps, we answered for research question number one, 71% nonverbal and 29% verbal modalities were identified. For research number two, it was revealed that gender is performed, femininity in smiles, masculinity in gaze, and trans identity in tension. In research question three, we found that ideologies are built, progressive in reflection, patriarchal in assertion. And research question number four, it reflects the society is mirrored. 102 debate moments, 47 cultural norms, change is loud, tradition is garden. So lastly, Dot and Max QDA turned deep qualitative work into clear visual proof. This method does not just describe discourse, it maps power, emotion, and ideology in real time. In an era where gender is debated on screens and streets, this software-powered MCDA gives us tools to see and teach what is really being said. So here are the references. Thank you for listening.